Hello, everybody. I am Dr. D. I hope you are available and understand some of the things we're going to talk about being a veteran and a woman. So, I wanted to play a little commercial for you here so that we will be non interrupted. For me, hold on, let me see, Dr. D. There you go. And we're going to do a commercial real quick. Give time, what do you give time for people to get in here today, if you will. So I'm going to do my little commercial. So we'll be back right after these messages from Food Alchemy Network. Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to Dr. D's Connection. And I wanted to talk about veterans and some of the things that are covered and some of the things that are not covered as being a veteran. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things being a veteran and what it's all about. Number one, when most people think about veterans, they think of men and not women. And that's one of the problems. There has been women that have been serving in the service for a long time, even if some of them were nurses back in the Civil War. So there's always been women there to support different soldiers in some way or capacity in the service. um, a friend shared with me the things of being a veteran in some auxiliary, as men don't think that women serve. So something like the VFW, or some of them, you go in, they think you're auxiliary, like you're the wife of someone that served in the service. Even you the DD-14 is a paper that shows you a discharge to prove your service, the time you entered and the time you left, and your rank and other information that's impertinent as you're in the service. I am a veteran and I have served my country very well, you would think. And other fellow women veterans have served their country well. But let's talk about some of the things to get there, some prejudice. I'm going to talk from my experience. When I got in, I was surrounded by a military family. Only people in my family that served in were men at the time. My stepfather was in the military. My play father was the army. My uncle was the navy. Uh, my dad was the navy. I'm trying to think. My brother even went in the navy. A lot of my uncles all did the navy. Um, One person I know did the army. That was it. But they were all men. None of the women actually went in were women. I found later on when I signed up, I think when I went in, my my mother's god sister, her name is Cheyenne Roberts. She went in and she went into the Navy, and she was stationed in the, what was she called? The Eries, was real cold in Michigan, I guess, the Erie Lake. I was fortunate to do my training in Orlando, Florida. Okay. And big difference in training, big difference in time. She served when she was a teenager. I served when I a teenager as well, just coming out of the service. So different rewards, different aspects. She, I don't remember what she was. I was a hall technician. Now, I chose a job or a school that would say a school that you go to. You go through boot camp, and then you get to choose a school or a school that you tested for. Mine was damage control, but then I went on to be a hull technician. Damage controls is the person that messes with the bombs. That's me. Hey, 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 with a female. Damage control. So I did that. I messed with bombs and did welding, which I love. I love to weld. Back then, and we are also for cleaning the pipes and making sure the pipes on the ships were um, not clogged up and needed welding and sanding and painting and priming and painting and all that stuff. So that's what a damage control person did at the time. But I didn't like what I did, and I got to switch out of department because I was in the fire department. So we deal with fire. So I started off as a fireman apprentice and worked my way up um, to another grade. So I went on to become a hall technician. A hall technician is also does welding, also does plumbing, which is a big deal. And basically, in my department, I was the only female in both damage control and also the whole technician. I was the only female. So that means I went on things. I got to do the grunge work. And how they trade it out is like you have to do duties in the kitchen, like we call mess hall duty. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I want to be in the kitchen. I like the kitchen now, but back then I just wanted to be one of the boys. I was a tomboy, so for me, I didn't want to be in the kitchen, stupid kitchen, and I didn't like it. I'm just saying, I did not like it one bit. But I've always been told, always make the best out of the worst situation, no matter what it is. Always been my philosophy, as well as why I fell into Buddhism. Take your poison and make it medicine. You will flourish, flourish, flourish. Another chance. So, okay, getting back to my story. Being a health technician, we dive under ships, so you can get a scuba diving license to dive, and you can do the welding on the ship and the plumbing on the ship. So you're responsible. And the plumbing means, like anything from bathroom clogs, toilets, sinks, garbage, all that stuff. So you also have to get hepatitis shots because you're exposed to so much hazard at the time. So these are things that we don't think about, or I didn't think about when I was in the service, like who would take care of it. And they would call up my department. And guess what? Women's birthing, uh, I was there for that. Because when a man comes in, holds a desk, all doors should be open, and so they can be not caught in an uncompromising position, which is, very understandable because of a lot of stuff that happened. Now, in my time, I was in a pilot program where they had a male and female ship for the first time. So, in order to do that, while we were in training in for Florida, they made us sign a waiver saying that we would not get pregnant, and we also had to get an examination. We also had to take the Navy's birth control pills. Not our own, that was not prescribed. We got from the military. We had to take them, and they gave them to you for about a year. Woe and behold. Okay. So they wanted to prevent any unplanned pregnancies or pregnancies at all. That's the agreement that you signed during that. pilot program. I did, needless to say. But okay, that's the good. That's the bad. That's the badness of it. That you give control over of your body to the military. Once you sign that paper, your body that you thought is your own, it's no longer your own. You're responsible to the military to answer them for everything about your body, your functions, and everything. If you get sick, you're supposed to go to, medical hall and get taken care of. Or since you're being stationed on a ship, if the doctor there, the HNT, could not take care of it, that's a medical, person, medical corpsman. You would be shipped, taken off the ship and take I don't know what to call it, like a ride. They give you a bad ride to the military base to actually be seen by a doctor. And then they would describe, you would see a ND, an LPN, a nurse, or you also got hospital corpsmen would check you in, do your blood work and urine work, x-rays and all of that there at this military base medical facility that you were going to if you're stationed on a ship. We don't have an x-ray machine on the ship. We didn't have like everybody thinks the ship is grandiose. It wasn't. A berthing is just some bunk beds in an area with lockers, and your locker, you have a locker under your bed that you lift up, so the bed is hard as heck. And then you have your locker that's beside you, and it's not even, I want to say it's maybe about 2 feet, which you can hang in there. Everything has to fit in there. Your uniform and your shoes a certain way. Same thing with your bed. You only have a little bit of room for personal items, not that much. And you have a lock and you lock your stuff. That is, what I experienced in my Navy being stationed on a ship. I was not stationed in a regular, house or whatever. I was stationed on a ship. So, and with those, you also get to go out to sea. So we did some what they call sea runs. We got to deliver some goods from one end to another. My ship's port was in Concord, California. So I got to be in Florida, and then I went straight to San Francisco. My ship was ported in San Francisco. My ship was called the U.S. Mount Hood AE-29. I found out they shut my ship down and they went to the shipyard. Beautiful people, some beautiful people and not so many beautiful people. As a woman, you can imagine being on the first mail ship, we encountered a lot of struggles. Struggles being that men thought the military was just for them. And they made it known, just like my uncle did. My uncle asked me, him being a captain, he asked me, who told me that I can go in his Navy? And my response was so cutely, last time I checked, it didn't say Lorenzo's Navy. It said United States, America's Navy, not yours. So that was my smarty remark to him, because he felt it was not my place to go in the Navy. And a lot of men felt like that. They were on an all-male ship and they were used to it. And some of the responses were, now we have women on the ship. Now we can't walk around in our underwear. Now we got to put clothes on. Now they're going to take up space. We were depriving of them being men. Not really. You want to walk around your ship and your skivvies, that I could care less. You know what? That's how I felt. But I'm not going to walk around the ship in my skivvies. If you know what I mean. So there was, some things that we had to fight against. They didn't want us there. They thought we were a waste of space. They had their own ship. They wanted, and some of the men that were actually on that ship actually got transferred out to different ships. as we got transferred in, and women and men had to deal with women being on their ship. So there's a lot of an adjustments that had to be made or could be made, and some of them good and a lot of them bad. Meaning that the way we were treated, uh, how we were talked to, and we also have duties. My duties as one thing is a chef. We actually guard the ship at night and do rows walking around. And because I was doing night duty, that means I had to go to the bottom of the bow of the ship and check the water levels. Um, so, like I said, I'm going to be very transparent. I am not going to hold anything back about this. I did my duty. I had a boyfriend on the ship. I got a guy. He was a big bodybuilder because at the time I was 18 and I was bodybuilding too. And they have a weight room. Men didn't want the women up there doing the weights. That's one of the things, the downsides. Some women, I'm going to say, some women went up there just to be cute to attract the eyes. For me, I went up there to lift weights. I don't give two hoots what you're doing. That was just my attitude. You got to remember, I'm this 18-year-old and I'm a tomboy, and boys at that time, or men, because I still see them as boys, were not really men. They're men, and then there's boys, and there's boys with their toys. And that's how I looked at it. Men were there, and then there were boys that would make fun of and hoo and howl and whistle and all that stuff. For me, wasn't there. So I made it a point of getting with one of the guys that was a bodybuilder, that was built like a Mack truck. So when I went to lift weights, I went to lift weights with him, my significant other, because I was about my business. Once that became, everybody knew he was my boyfriend, and that was pretty cool. So that paved a lot of way for me in some things, but he could not be with me 24/7. He could not protect me 24/7. And some of the things that were done to some of the women, me, like I said, I was telling you about walking in doing a night shift. I got locked down in the barrel of the ship with the water. Like I told you, we check the water perimeters of when it's rising, and we write down that as we're walking around the ship, and you're having to check different things. It just happened my mate was not there, and he was on vacation, and his friend actually knew that I was doing duty, that checked on me, when they thought it would be funny to lock me at the bottom of the ship. Joke, joke, joke. It's just a little harmless joke. He checked around, walked around, and had somebody look his post and found me at the bottom of the ship and let me out. After that, an incident report was done to my best recollection. I don't know if it's seen the light of day, because that again is, as I said, boys being boys. So I left, did the rest of my duty. When I went down, I let him know that I was going down to the bottom of the ship, and he made sure that I was okay. So that shift went pretty good. Now, going back to doing welding, I'm talking to a guy, and he's being sarcastic and very nasty. And I told him that I was not going to tolerate him talking to me in disrespect, that I was a human being. And basically what happened, we got into some words. So he told me he was going to take the torch and burn me. And guess what he did? He burned my hat with my hair in it, this hair right here. That was done. So when people tell me about their military and they're a man, jump off. Because just like you, I'd served my time with tyrants. There was some good, but there were a lot of tyrants that made my time in the military horrible. And it could have been a pleasant experience. I like some of my crew. And when I reported this, it was laughed off. When I put it in a report, a fellow female hospital corpsman told me, you know what they did with that report when you did that report about them? They threw it in the trash. It will never see the light of day. And I was told to tell you, basically, suck it up and get over it. This is what they call military hazing, their way. So, with that being said, me suffering, having anxiety now, like I said, that's just the second incident. Um, let's see. We have some people that were actually raped on my ship, and at the time were afraid to come forward and talk about the rape and who raped them, because it wasn't just one person that raped this person. It was a multitude of people. I won't say people, men that raped. And it was made fun of the young lady that was raped on my ship. She was not just one. It was a joke. They didn't take it serious. This young lady had a nervous breakdown, didn't know what to do, and they couldn't figure out why she didn't want to go back to work. Um, this is trauma, and this happened to a lot of my other fellow shipmates. Tormented, sexually, harassed. I got harassed, but for me, at the time, it's no big deal. I tell them, you know what, kiss my ass. If you have children presents, sorry. That basically was my attitude. Kiss my big black ass. And I learned very well, when you go out to drink with your fellow shipmates, to watch your drink. A lot of my fellow female shipmates were not so lucky. I know who to go out with and who not. I was prepared to go into the military by my dad. I was drinking Granddad. I don't know if y'all know what that is. Granddad, before I went in. And he taught me some tricks of the trade. So someone that tried to get me drunk, and my behavior, that I was not exposed myself to being incompetent. Now, not saying that I might not be over to take a man. I might not. All depends on that man or men at that time. But my dad also taught me, do not put myself in that position at any time, because he had been in the service and seen what can and does happen to women in the service. So he tried to prepare me the best way he could to take care of myself when I was not in a facility that he felt I could protect myself or be guarded around other people. Because the thing is, don't ask, don't tell. And I'm not talking about your sexual orientation. I'm talking about what is done to the women in this military, that people say, we honor them. We love them so much. Uh, you love being a veteran. Cool. I paved the way for a lot of my benefits that was also taken away, because remember I told you about that time of me signing a paper that I would not get pregnant on their birth control. Unfortunately, or fortunately, which way you want to look at it, I was one of those people that got pregnant taking their birth control, doing it religiously like I was told. Mind you, I had not been on birth control in my life. So was a new experience, but I did what I was told exactly to the letter, and woman behold, I got pregnant.
After that, I was transferred. We were in Desert Storm. I was transferred to Treasure Island, a holding tank, until I came back. And of course, me and uh, a colonel, don't remember what he was, a schmuck got into it, and he was being disrespectful. And I don't care who you are, what you are. I'm not going to tolerate anybody being disrespectful to me uh, and saying things that are not appropriate. So we got into it, and basically, next thing I knew, I was being discharged. Now, how did I get discharged? I got a honorable discharge, but I got a RE4 code. RE4 codes means you cannot re-enlist again. And the code he gave me was due to pregnancy. So if you get pregnant, you get out. There's no option, especially as a single woman that's not married. You don't have that many options. So, or you have to give up all your rights to your child. I was not even given that option. I don't think I would have did that anyway, but that's just hearsay. So when I hear men disaccount women, it bothers me because of the things that I know that I went through, the things that I know my fellow women, shipmates that went through, the torture, the anger. It causes post traumatic stress. It causes them, the people that we think is supposed to have our backs and protect us, that doesn't. It makes you look at things very wearily, and it brings trauma to the body in different parts in different ways. And it's hard to heal at times. So I say to you, why, why? And they don't know. All to be in the in man's game that other people have to suffer. Now, going on to my story. Getting out, I was discharged, and you pack your stuff, you go, they give you a ticket back to your home place of where you're going. And I, being from Philadelphia, signed up in Philadelphia, went back to Philadelphia, and I was discharged and pregnant and everything. Um, so I had a lot of little issues, trust, and what they called disorder attachment disorder. That's what they call it medically, meaning that I cannot stay in one place long. I basically do not, they would say, connect with a lot of people. I do and I don't. I can accept it or not accept it. You know what I mean? So those are just some of the things that was said about me after coming out. So when you go out, you're supposed to get a full medical workover. You're supposed to get your teeth done. You're supposed to get a full checkup so that anything, like the way you come in, the way you go out. So if there's any issues at all. But I didn't get that luxury. And insurance they supposed to have, I did not get. So it was a lot of stuff that was lost in my paperwork. So, and this happens to a lot of people getting out in the military, not just during my time, but all different times. When you're getting out, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what you're supposed to get. So I'm saying this for my women. Make sure if you're active and you're getting out, make sure that you get a full examination. Get your full treatment before your time of discharge so that afterwards you're not disaccounted. So if there's any pain, any ache and all or anything, get it looked at right then and there. That's a lot of stuff that they don't tell you. If you've been through anything, make sure. The one thing the military has taught me to take all my medical records wherever I go from place to place to place. If not, download them on a, well, back then we had this blue chip, blue fish chip or something. I forgot, it's called blue chip. And you take it with you. I would get my medical records actually copied and take with me from each doctor. Even as the years, I still do the same thing. I still get my medical report and ask them to send me a copy. And by law, you're allowed to do that in any hospital. After you finish your appointment, you can ask them to send you a copy of your doctor's visit, and they by law have to for that visit. As you requested, it is free. That's things they don't tell you. You are entitled to your medical report after you see each doctor. So they send it to you. Or you can get it right there. Go to medical records, request it, it's free. Now, if they have to send it to somebody else, to another doctor's, it's free. But after the time, if you don't request it, they can charge you, and they'll charge you per page. Trust me, I know. So I'm very grateful for the military teaching me those things about getting my military record. Now let's go on about being a fellow veteran. I don't know if anybody have any questions. I myself was not aware that I was entitled to benefits until later. And someone said, you've been in the military, you could actually get medical coverage, or you could actually get this, or you could actually get that. Now, no one bothered to tell me anything. So I filed my report. We went through that, way back in 90, 96, 97, or 92 or whatever. And then at that time, which is so funny, there was a incident that came out that women on the ship had been raped. Women were traumatized. There was a big thing. Now it's called MST, military sexual trauma. Now, it's taken almost 30, 40 years to come about. Imagine the whistleblower, what she went through. But imagine the other people that never said anything, that dealt with the trauma, like they said, to suck it up, that have been raped, killed. Even some veteran women have been killed. But we don't acknowledge that. It's just something we don't speak about. So, as women, it's not always easy being in the military. And someone said, you know what? You chose to go into the military. Yes, I chose to go into the military, but I didn't choose to be tortured by my fellow men that was supposed to have my back. I didn't choose to be treated like a second class citizen. I thought I was entitled to all the rights that my other fellow mates got, medical coverage. But then I'm not saying they don't do that to the men. Some of them, they do that too. They don't know their rights as a veteran, coming out what you should do and how to get a hold. You don't find this later till 20, 40 years later. Or like me, I was told that I should have got a pension when I first got out for all the stuff that was done, all the stuff that was done to me. But look how long it took. It took 26 years for someone to look at the medical records, go all the way to the back when I first filed my report. First filed that report. And when that report was done, it was like, how in the heck am I going to get records from 30 years ago? Because do you know the time limit that a hospital holds your records? They only have to hold them for 10 years. Now we're talking something almost 20, 30 years. They by law don't have to hold that. They burn that to make room for more. Now, no record whatsoever. So where does that leave the person that, if they were told the right information as they're filing, where does that leave them? Then, if you don't have the right person to walk you step by step, to read, or to help you understand what they're looking for, you're still screwed. So you think you got something, but you in the end you don't have a darn thing. Not a darn thing. So how do you go? You go back and they said get a character letter written by people that seen you, that know you or whatever, or go back and get a doctor to say that the military calls this something 20 years ago. Really? Seriously. It's easy, they say. You can do this. There's no problem. The veteran has no problem getting their assistance. We're here to help you and serve you. Bullshit. They're not. They're here to put you through the torture and the test. Now, some are lucky they get through, and some are not so lucky. Now, some are just like, keep filing charges, keep filing charges. Guess what? What they don't tell you, if you don't file the right charge, you get red flag and automatically you get turned down. These are just talking about your benefits, the benefits that you're entitled to. Now, when I joined the military, I paid in for my schooling. They took money out. They also had bonds. Okay. I had military bonds that I paid for each month. We won't get in that. That were sent to a mailbox every month. We went back home. Every month you would pay into that bond and see what you have. Um, Guess what? That was just that. So when you got out and you did not say full your obligation of maybe 4 years, you got pregnant. Guess what? All that money that you put in, all that effort you put in, you're just giving a pat on the back and saying thank you very much for serving, but you're not entitled to jack, not housing, not money, not a pension. You just served your country. In what way? So when people come at me with their bullshit, I tell them to go suck an egg. I've served my time. I believe that I'm entitled to my benefits. And I was talking to another fellow veteran, and we were talking about it like, I've been doing this for 26 years, like, and I remember my dad said they eventually want you to give up. They eventually want you to give up. That is the game. You keep fighting, 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 and eventually we tell you no, 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 and you don't get the right person in your background to help you with the paperwork, you don't get your benefits at all. But if you get the right person that knows what they're doing, that's willing to help you, to willing to go to battle for you, you got a good one. I've happened to find that person, Mr. Parker, that actually went over and got my military records. Are you ready for this? My record, military record from the time I entered and the time I left, contains 3,771 pages. And right there in my military record of medical, it stated all the stuff that I mentioned in my record. But someone just went off of one person, and after that, they never looked at the record again. They just kept going by, well, this doctor said this, but it doesn't prove a point. It didn't go back and say this. I myself went through those pages and found pages after pages after pages after pages after of evidence. And I probably wouldn't have got that. I've been requesting my military records for a while, but no one could get my boot camp records. And finally, all of those records, like I said, 3,771 pages. A lot of pages, right? I went through those step by step by step by step, date by date by date by date. Now I have to go and get them copied, highlight, send it to them, and do it all over again. That is what it is to be a woman veteran, to prove your point. And it's hard, but you know what? It's so worth it. So, yes, after this proven, will I get my pension? Heck yeah. Will I get my benefits? Heck Yeah. So I say to my fellow veterans, fellow active women of duty, please look at your medical records. Please keep a copy, put it on a flash drive. If you see something, question it, talk to them, and bring it to their attention. Not later, not 20 years, 15 years. Bring it to their attention now so it's on record. If not, you're also entitled to look at your medical record and read them at the time you're active so you'll know what's going on and what is in your military record. I was not given that luxury or didn't even know to do that. So these are the things I'm telling you to do. So when you show up, you know what you have, you know what you're dealing with, and the people to look for. I would always go to the VA administrative building and deal with them and talk with them and have them file paperwork for me and trusting that they're going to do the right thing. And I don't have too much good to say about the American Legions. Sorry. The one in Phoenix was not good. Um, the lady that I had that was good. She was good. She was the one of me fighting for my pension, which I got for a while. And we were going to a hearing, and I had to travel from where I lived at and surprise all the way to Phoenix. And we were ready for battle. And when I got there, she said they called her this morning and canceled the hearing. And guess what? My pension that they were going to cut, they did not cut. They basically gave it back. So, but years later, 2015, they took my pension back again. Anyway, so and made a thing of me not being entitled, blah 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 blah, of time served. I should have did my full 4 year tour, and I did not, and that's okay. And I went against their regs of getting pregnant during that time. I can't help. I am a god, yes, but at that time I didn't realize I was God. I can create anything I want. I'm just saying. So, realizing what is in your military records, who to talk to, finding out sources that you're entitled to, not just through the VA, not through American Legion, not through the VFW, which is foreign affairs, foreign what is it, foreign something, VFW, foreign wars. I think that's what is VFW. I'm not quite sure. They got DAV, disabled American veterans. They have a couple of them that basically help you with your paperwork and can assist you with different things. But then they have other people on the side that, like I said, Mr. Parker, there that basically helped me go through, comb through, and pull out the evidence that was right there in our faces. And yes, going through these, reading these years ago, it does hurt. What I seen that I suffered and what I went as uh, a young adult, the trauma. But what it did is let me work on my shadow self. For you guys out there, don't know what it is. I worked on my shadow self and actually began to do the healing for myself. And it was a lot of work, but it was so worth it because the new profound thing of understanding who I am and what I'm capable of, I will say the military gave me gumption to not to give up when I'm faced against the odds. I keep fighting. I keep coming back. I keep coming back. I keep coming back until I get what I want. That is what it taught me. Everything that looks beautiful in the mirror is not beautiful. There's sometimes some ugliness and some smudge to that. But if you polish it well enough, beautiful. So again, I say to my fellow women of service and veterans, know what's in your records. Get with someone that if you need to file, go over it. If you suffer from post traumatic stress syndrome, get some counseling, get some help. If you suffer from military sexual trauma, they are now opening up where they have counselors that can actually help you. And if you don't feel comfortable being or reporting to a man, they have women that actually do this. I have seen some phenomenal people that offer services for these uh, incidents and tragedies, is what I call it, tragedies that happen to these women. Don't let the people that harm you be the winner. You're the winner. They were weak. They were weak, not you. Don't let it be your shame, because a lot of the times they will make the woman feel like she's shameful, like it's her fault. It's not your fault. And you fought and you did whatever you had to do, and they made it be your burden, your shame. It's not. It's their fault. They're lacking. You lack nothing. Pick your head up, be encouraged. And I know it's hard and it hurts. But I say, what would you say to another sister that's been through that? Hold the sister's hand and show her that it's going to be okay. If you need to scream, you need to cry, you need to shout, do not be afraid. Do it. Pick up a pen, pick up a paper, and write. Get a journal, write. Sing it, dance it, whatever you feel to let the anguish go. Do it. Do not harm yourself. They are not worthy. Your life is precious. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I hope that you do, and you know your worth and your beauty. Not only beautiful on the inside, but outside as well. And I want you to know your strength. For you to make it this far, you are strong and so incredible. Believe that. You are strong. You're a strong woman for what you've been through and what you can share with others. Like I said, I'm very transparent and I fought a lot of battles. Now, like I said, even the battle, let's keep it real, of being raped on a ship by some knucklehead that were not man enough, but thought it was their duty to show me how much a man they were. Not a man. You're a boy. You're an animal. But it pays a heavy price on your psyche. But I look at it as spiritually, baby, I am beautiful. I am strong. I am freaking simply fabulous. And I shine because all the struggles that I went through, not only in the military, but in my life, it makes me a beautiful, strong being that shines. And because of that, I can sit here today and share with you what I've been through and the counseling. And I've been through counseling for years to be able to get to the point where I know that I'm not a victim. I know that what happened to me unfortunately happened by chance, but also I am strong and that I can conquer anything. I can survive anything. I can take nothing and make it something. And I can take the poorest thing and make it the richest thing in my life. I have me. That's what I want you to see. You don't give up. If you see another sister in the military, hug her. If you know what she's going through, hug her, support her. And I say to you, sis, out there, you are loved and you are strong. You are beautiful and you are victorious. And you can conquer anything that you put your mind to because you are woman. You are the womb that began it all. And that's what I leave to you. This has been Dr. D, and this has been a true life story. Bye, y'all.